Nobody's going to give us anything. No one owes us anything. We know we got to continue to grind our way to the top, and we're looking forward to all the things that come in terms of having to travel, go on the road, and what it's going to take to go battle on the road.
Looking at Wisconsin stylistically, how do they maybe differ or similar to your first two opponents, and how are they going to stretch your defense?
Yeah, and I think it's a good point. I mean, they have a lot of layers to what they do. A heavy volume in the run game. They have a vertical throw game. They'll stretch you horizontally. I think they do a phenomenal job of spreading the ball around. They got good spacing concepts, vertical concepts. They run zone and gap scheme. They can tempo when you want them to tempo. They have experienced players. You look at their wide receiver group, older group of guys, seasoned guys that have played a lot of football, returning starters. Backs can run downhill, experienced coaching staff, and you're looking at them going into year 2 of their coaching staff. So you have a lot of continuity, a lot of same as. So I think obviously all those things present their own challenges. Different style of offense probably last week in what we saw South Florida, but they can do it all. You know, they present empty, five open empty, 4 open empty. They 2x2, 3x1 condensed sets. So you know, they're going to test rules. They're going to test our ability to execute on a down in and down out basis. So we know we're going to have to do our job and do it consistently well.
You've worked with several young guys, breaking them into their college kind of first season. How have you seen Xavier Brown progress over these first 2 games?
Yeah, really excited and proud of what, the work that he's done. He's nowhere near the player we think he's going to ultimately be. So what we're always assessing, hey, okay, where are you at? Where do we ultimately want you to go, and how are we going to close that gap to help you get there? That takes number one, I think, a honest and real relationship, so we can have truthful conversations, and we know that the conversations that we have are for the sole purpose of making you the best that you can be. And then it takes action. Then we got to go put the work in. So we're being really critical on ourselves. We're being really critical on the details of our work. You're asking, I think Xavier played 60 snaps last week as a true freshman corner and held his own out there. Did a pretty good job. So we know that he's conscientious. He works hard. He's earning the right to go out there and play football for us and get the reps that he has. And then ultimately, when you're out there, it's about playing to the standard of the play, and it's ultimately about executing at a high level. So we want to continue to build our depth all the way through Jalen Mbakwe, Deshaun Jones, Zay Mincy, continue to roll guys in, because we hope and we know we're looking forward to having a long season. And so we're going to have guys ready to roll in and roll out on a down in and down out basis. So Xavier's one of the guys. So he's doing a good job for us. We got to continue to work, continue to try to find ways to get better.
Now that you're a couple games in, where do you want to be from a rotation standpoint with some of those guys?
What I would say is there's not a when you go through the week, if you think about a game, there's maybe 70 snaps. If you got 2 corners out there, you're talking about 140 snaps. So we'll build a little bit of a plan as the week develops. Hey, we think, hey, Damani, you're going to probably be around 40 to 50. Maybe this guy's going to be around 20. But I let a little bit of the practice, what occurs in practice, kind of determines who kind of fills those roles in, and it keeps an urgency that I know that when I'm out there in practice, we are watching everything. We're trying to really be critical and assess who is really getting it done. I think we're building depth right now. I think we have talent in the room. But when we kind of build a game plan out to go play a certain opponent, we're assessing what happens in practice to kind of transition that into reps into the game.
How's it been working with Coach Hitchler his first year in the program, helping out with the DBs with him?
Yeah, I think Hitchler's experience. He's a great coach. Obviously, he was at Wisconsin, co-defensive coordinator, has a ton of football knowledge. I think if you look at our room, we got a little bit of everything. Freddie was here on staff. He has that experience of being a guy that's been here before. You look at Coach Womack, and he's a former head coach, former defensive coordinator at Power 5 level, tying everything and bringing everything in together. Christian Robinson, very knowledgeable coach, extremely knowledgeable, very smart football coach, and really does a great job coaching his guys. And then, like you mentioned with Colin, coming over, being a co-DC at Wisconsin, coming over here and kind of putting all our heads together and try to find out how can we come together and put the best product together on the football field. We got QCs and GAs that do a phenomenal job. I think it takes trust, it takes communication, it takes honest conversations, and then Coach Womack is leading the whole thing in terms of directing the entire process and what we ultimately are going to look to become over time.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks a lot, guys.